Okay, so John's first turn. You can see John's eager. He's already holding focus. Sorsha actually gets 6 focus to start, and John has, like I said, being the first turn, the really only thing he's going to do in this phase is either keep his focus or allocate his focus. So to allocate, it's very simple. You just basically say, I'm giving this jack so many focus.
I'm giving 1 focus to each jack.
Okay. Now focus can be used for many things. We're going to show you as the game actually goes a couple of the basic things that you can do with it. But yeah, so John would say that. So he gave 1 focus to each warjack, and Sorsha will keep 4 for herself. And John can actually now start moving because he has done that focus allocation. So obviously, there's different orders you can do things in. This game isn't, really tied down to you can do this and that and whatever. Things to keep in mind: if something runs, unless special rules specify, once you're done its actual movement, that model is done activating. So it can't do anything else. It can't shoot. You can't run and shoot. You can't run and attack, all that kind of stuff. So just keep that in mind. And also remember, basically, another thing to remember is that speed is doubled when you run. So if he wants, like, oh, see, we're playing on a big board. That's another thing, is we're playing on a pretty big board here. Usually, especially for beginning with small armies, you really just want to do a 4x4 board, or even just like a dinner table to learn the basics. I'll see whatever you're comfortable with. But anyway, so speed is double whatever the movement is. So I believe on both John's heavy jacks, his base speed is 4. Yep. So that means that if you want to, you could spend a focus on its activation, which we'll show you here, and move double that movement. So, John, if you want to show us here.
Okay.
So John's going to activate his destroyer first.
Yep. And destroyer will run.
He's going to spend a focus. Now, the thing is you pick your direction, and then you measure. You can't legally, I believe, measure all around and decide where you want to end up. You say, I'm going this direction, and then you measure. And you measure from the front of the base, and then you move him to the front, like that, as you can see roughly. Okay, so in that case he ran in a straight line. With running, you don't have to. Running, you could basically like zigzag. So if you want to just show that, John. So he's going to take his other jack here. He's going to spend a focus to run. Now he has 8 inches in total to move. He doesn't have to use them all if he doesn't want to, but he can basically move 2 inches one way, move another 2 inches another way, move another 2 inches another way. So as you can see here, he moves a couple inches this way, and then he can move a couple more inches another direction, like that. You're not restricted when you're running. You can run pretty much any way you will, as long as you use up your inches, that kind of stuff. So because once again we're so far out of range, he's pretty much just going to run, trying to get himself up into battle. Okay. Now the other thing is okay, his jacks have activated. They're both done because they ran, they stopped, they're done their thing. It's now Sorsha's turn to activate if he chooses, which he's obviously going to. So the way you can do this is a few things. Because Sorsha has focus, she also has spells. She can actually cast spells and then move her base speed. She can't run after casting spells. She can move her base speed and then cast spells if she wants. Or she can run, but then she stops. Okay. Any unspent focus at the end of the turn actually adds to your armor value. So what's Sorsha's armor, John?
Sorsha has an armor of 14.
Okay, so if, just for instance, John were to just, move Sorsha and stop and not do anything else, and she kept that 4 focus on her from the beginning of the turn, that would add to her armor stat. So if she's base armor 14, she has 4 focus on her, she would be armor 18. Okay, so that's something focus is good for. But yeah, so basically John's going to activate his caster.
Okay, Sorsha will advance.
So when he says advance, that means she's just moving her inches. Okay, that's what an advance or a full advance would be. Okay. Because John didn't run, he can still, if something was in range, he could shoot something if she has a gun. He could make a melee attack if he was in a range of melee, which we'll show later on. He can still cast spells. He can also pop that once per game feat. So in this case, once again, because John is just so far away from anything worthwhile, he's just going to sit on his 2 focus. And that would be the end of John's turn. He's moved all his models that he controls, so he would be done, and it would move over to Menos turn 1.